on the left side, it would be a right homonymous hemianopsia, because it's involving those same axons. Does that make sense to everyone? Now, the thing is, if you can draw this, then even if you can't remember everything perfectly, you can go back and figure it out. But once you do this exercise a few times, you commit it to memory. Now, this is an image. I think this image is from your book. But it should be very close to what we drew here up on the board. Okay. So you get the idea that these axons are very condensed within the optic tract, but they splay out a little bit more within the optic radiations before reaching the visual cortex. When you see the light, like for instance you wake up and you walk outside and the light is bright, okay? What is the cranial nerve that's responsible for seeing the light? It's the optic nerve. It's the optic nerve. Now, let's tackle 3, 4, and 6. You said 3, 4, and 6, yes?
Sorry, I have a random question. You know how like when you feel like you have to sneeze, they tell you to look at a light and then you sneeze?
Yeah, I have no clue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't even, is it true?
Yeah, I do that.
So when you're about to sneeze, you look at the light and it aborts the sneeze.
No, it makes you sneeze.
Oh, it makes you sneeze. Oh, I try.
I was about to
suppress
say,
my
do you
sneezes
never
sometimes.
sneeze?
You can say mustard and that helps to suppress.
So saying mustard, so if I want to suppress, I have to say mustard.
It's like something about the, the tickle that you said.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. So if you say mustard, it'll stop the sneeze, but if you look at the light, it'll keep it going.
Because a lot of times when I'm sick and like congested, it'll like tickle and like make me think I have to sneeze, but I never can.
But to trigger it, you look at light.
And I look at the light.
That must be some
Kind
kind of occult connection up there.
A cult?
Well, it's not-
I don't think Abby's in a cult.
No, when I say occult, I mean that if you read the textbook, I'd be surprised if you found that. You know, if you could find a name for that reflex.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Okay. So
Google
before we
for
go to
cults.
3, 4, and 6, let me find a model here.
I thought he was going to be like, let me go check on my wife.
I want a break.
I want to go home. I doubt he would ever say that phrase, though.
Okay, we said that 3, 4, and 6 provides innervation to the extraocular muscles.
Are those the ones that go for the superior over the inferior?
Oh, the nerves go to the superior, not the muscles. But yeah, the nerves 3, 4, and 6 go to the superior orbital fissure area, innervating these 6 muscles that surround the eye. And you say, wow, that means we're going to have to learn all 6 muscles. That's a daunting task. But it's not really. It's not really. 4 of the 6 muscles are really easy to learn because they're called rectus muscles. Yeah.
What's that?
What does rectus mean?
I would say retina.
Not retina. It's not R-E-T, R-E-C-T.
Behind.
Behind. No, rectus means straight.
Oh.
And these are straight muscles. So for instance, this straight muscle here that's attached to the superior pole of the eye, let's call that one the superior rectus. Okay? This one here that's attached to the lateral pole of the eye, let's call that one the lateral rectus. Okay?
I think I see where this is going.
Yeah. This one here that's attached to the medial pole of the eye, what do you think we ought to call that one?
Medial rectus.
Wow! This class is good. And
Sarah's
Carl,
good. The rest of us are okay.
The first period's like trying to come at us.
Yeah, that movement, that catching up real quickly. And then this one that's attached to the inferior pole of the eye, yeah, we'll call that one the
Superior.
It's inferior rectus. Inferior rectus. So we have the superior, inferior, lateral, and medial rectus. So we've already memorized, in a sense, 4 of the 6 extraocular muscles.
You would hope.
Now, look here along the medial wall of the orbit. There's another muscle that's kind of sneaking up here and passing through a pulley. By the way, do y'all remember the Latin word for pulley?
Trochlea.
Trochlea, yeah. So it's passing through a pulley, and then its tendon is directed backwards. Okay? So it's attached to the posterior part of the superior pole of the eye. It's coming back, and so when it contracts, it's going to pull the back of the eye forward, and it's going to cause the eye to look down. Okay? So this is an oblique muscle, meaning that it's extending to the eye from an oblique angle. Okay, so this is called the superior oblique, and there's a very similar muscle, but along the undersurface of the eye. That's called the inferior oblique. So that's the 6 muscles: the 4 rectus, superior, and inferior oblique muscles. Now, in terms of function, again, the rectus muscles are easy. Superior rectus elevates the eye. It moves it superiorly. When the inferior rectus contracts, it pulls down and it depresses the eye. The eye moves inferiorly. When the lateral rectus contracts, it's going to pull on the eye from the lateral side. It's going to move it out. We would call that abduction. Whereas the medial rectus, when it contracts, it's going to pull the eye in. We'd call that adduction, ADD. Wow. So we picked up not only the names of these 4 rectus muscles, but hopefully we picked up the function. They simply move in the direction of the name, either superior, inferiorly, medially, or laterally. Okay? So I think we're good with that. Now it's just attacking these oblique muscles. We said that the superior oblique is coming at the eye from a different angle. It's attaching posterior to the superior rectus, and so it's pulling the back of the eye forward, so the eye's going to move down. But it's also pulling the eye from the medial to lateral, from lateral to medial. So it's going to move the eye not only down but out. So I call the superior oblique muscle the down and out muscle. It's like one of those people on Camp Street that look like they're down and out.
Camp Street.
Yeah,
Where's
there's
that?
a soup kitchen on Camp Street.
Oh, my bad.
Okay,
I'm not from,
that's all right.
yeah.
That's all right.
In the East Bank.
Girl, we gotta take you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know how to get to my sister's house, and that's about
But you
it.
would enjoy the friendship. Okay.
Because I have no friends, according to Dr. Finner.
No, you have
And me.
you have plenty of friends. Okay.
A friend.
All right. So the superior oblique turns the eye down and out. The inferior oblique is just going to be the opposite. It's going to turn the eye up and out.
It's up and out, not up and in.
No, up and out. Now we're ready to talk about 3, 4, and 6.
I found out what it's called, and it's apparently genetic.
No.
It's called PSR, photic sneeze reflex.
Wow, so there is a name for it.
There is.
Say it again.
Photic sneeze reflex.
Photic sneeze reflex.
It's
Wow.
estimated to occur in 18 to 35% of population.
I think I have it. In fact, now what I realize is sometimes when I go outside the house in the morning and there's bright sun, I sneeze. It's the photic sneeze reflex.
They
You're
don't know how it
convincing
works,
yourself
but
you
that's
have
what
it.
it is.
What?
You're convincing
So-
yourself you have it.
So more than just
Yes, I have it. I've got it.
They
some.
also call it ECHU for autosomal dominant compulsive helio-ophthalmic outburst of sneezing.
Okay, that's what I want you guys to memorize.
Thanks, Abby. So more than just you and your family does it? Like it's like really hereditary, or just you do?
Oh,
it?
I don't know. I've never asked my family.
Didn't know it was
All right.
genetic.
Yeah, I didn't know until just now.
All right, so this shows you the extraocular muscles. This lists them, and it gives you their action. Now let's go back and let's start with the fourth cranial nerve. It's called the trochlear nerve. It's called the trochlear nerve because it innervates the superior oblique muscle that passes through a trochlea. Did I mention at any time that the fourth cranial nerve is the only cranial nerve to emerge from the roof of the brainstem, the dorsal aspect? All the other cranial nerves emerge from the ventral aspect of the brainstem. In fact, let me look for...
There's a reason for this. It's in the other room. Watch that be our bonus from Abby's word. Watch that be our bonus.
The dorsal aspect right over the brainstem.
What is it?
That's a good word. I like it. It's not good about that. It's just, you can't complain, right?
Now, all these structures are cranial nerves. If you look up here, this is the fourth. I know it immediately because it's coming from the roof of the brainstem. If you can't see it, check this out later. Here's another brain
In
model.
the library.
Pull this one off. Can you see this cranial nerve?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the fourth. It's the only one that comes from the roof. Now, it's the trochlear, it's cranial nerve 4, so it's coming from the roof of the midbrain. Remember, because 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the rule of fours. Now, 3, 4, and 6, which hang together, all enter the orbit through the superior orbital fissure. Okay, to provide innervation to one or more of those extraocular muscles. The easy thing about cranial nerve 4 is that the only muscle it innervates is the superior oblique. Now, I'll tell you my little mnemonic trick for cranial nerve 4. The chemical symbol for phosphate, sulfate. Have y'all taken chemistry?
No, they won't let me.
Okay. Has anyone else taken chemistry besides Colin?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how you learn all of your compounds and your groups? Your functional groups? Okay, so sulfate is SO4. Okay? Sulfide would be SO3. So you have to think sulfate, so superior oblique 4. That's the way I remember it. So if 4 is functional, you can move your eye down and out. That's its only function. That's all it's got. And so here's a nice picture of 4. The beautiful thing is you can see it coming off the roof of the midbrain, traveling through the superior oblique fissure, through the superior orbital fissure, and then innervating the superior oblique muscle. So 4 is a lot of fun. I like 4. Let's talk about 6. Cranial nerve 6 is called the abducens nerve. It's called the abducens nerve because it abducts the eye. Now, in order for it to abduct the eye, which muscle must it innervate? Which muscle brings about abduction? Just think about it.
Lateral rectus.
The lateral rectus, yeah. Now, the way I think
Table
about
goals.
the lateral rectus is by using the little mnemonic LR6.
But that's not a chemical, is it?
I had in kindergarten, there was a kid in my class called Larry Regas.
Remember kindergarten.
Larry Regas was 6 years old when I met him.
I was too popular in kindergarten to remember the rest of the peasants' names.
I
Okay.
remember my first crush in kindergarten.
You had a crush?
Did it break your heart, Sarah?
Dishwasher was a robot and being amazed.
Well, you know, the first love, that's always what
The
happens.
first love.
His name was Trevin.
Unusual name. Trevin is kind of a gender-neutral name. I like that.
Is it?
Is it? I didn't even know it was a
I've
name.
never even heard of that.
I never heard it after that. I thought it was Trevor. Yeah. But he had blonde hair and blue eyes. Sorry.
Okay. Come back. All right, so the only function of 6 is to operate the lateral rectus. Now, 6, of course, based on the rule of 4s, is going to leave the pons. It's going to pass through the superior orbital fissure, and then it's going to provide innervation to the lateral rectus. So, try to stay awake.
I am. Doing my
4 and
best here.
6, then it should be obvious or purely motor. Some say marry money, motor, but my motor. So 4 and 6 are purely motor. Now, the beautiful thing about memorizing the innervation of 4 and 6, the fact that one innervates superior oblique, the other the lateral rectus, is that then you know that 3 handles all the others, the other 4. So if you can memorize 4 and 6, you automatically know 3. Yeah, superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial rectus, and inferior oblique. 3 picks up the other 4 of the 6. Okay? So now we're going to go back and attack 3. Three is going to originate from the ventral midbrain.